While the world watches, the US and Europe, a massive power tussle is happening in East Africa right now. 81-year-old president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, is fighting to secure his 5th decade in power. But this time, it's different. He isn't just facing a pop star turned revolutionary named Bobi Wine. He's facing an internal power struggle involving his own son, a deal with US President Donald Trump, and a possible plan to shut the internet. Is this an election or the operations of a dynasty? Today, we are looking at what the mainstream media is missing about Uganda's 2026 election. Yes, Ugandans are heading to the polls to make a choice. Give their president, Yoweri Museveni, a 5th decade in power, or bet on change. You see, President Museveni has been in power since 1986. That's 40 long years. He first took power as a guerrilla leader, promising democracy after years of dictatorship. Now, he's the only president most Ugandans have ever known. His main challenger, Bobi Wine, a 43-year-old pop star turned politician who's captured the hearts of young voters. He came second in the last election with 35% of the votes, and he's back promising a revolution. But here's the thing. This election isn't just about who wins. It's also about what comes after. And there's a twist involving Museveni's son that's got everyone talking. I will get to that in just a moment. But first, let's talk about why this election is already controversial before a single vote is counted.
We are not going to stop. We shall never give up.
This love is the fuel that keeps us going. Many times, as you have seen, they are hounding us. They are beating us left, right, and center. They are tear gassing us. They pepper spray us. They even shoot live bullets at us. Every day, there are 99 reasons for us to give up because it's dangerous. But there's one big reason for us to keep going. That is the love, the motivation, the support and solidarity. Yo!
The campaign has been rough. Opposition rallies have been broken up by police. Activists have been detained. Hundreds of supporters have been arrested. And at least one person killed at a campaign event.
They're scared of the people. They know that the people are voting out a dictator. But as you can see, all the military and the police are under capture. What they're doing is illegal. They're being given, they're being given illegal orders to torture people, to beat up people. But the people are not giving up. They sound...
Bobi Wine's events keep getting disrupted by security forces, tear gas, pepper spray, beatings. In fact, Amnesty International calls it a brutal campaign of repression. Meanwhile, President Museveni's rallies, they go off without a hitch. The president says these measures are necessary to keep things peaceful and prevent riots. Critics say it's just classic suppression at play. United Nations experts have warned about what they're calling a pervasive climate of fear in Uganda right now. And remember the last election in 2021? Security forces were said to have killed more than 50 people during protests after Bobi Wine was arrested. Here's where it gets interesting. Bobi Wine is telling his supporters to stay at polling stations after voting to guard their ballots and prevent rigging. You know, the classic protect your votes. Election officers say people should vote and leave. The trust just isn't there right now. But first, let me tell you who the candidates are in this election. First, Yoweri Museveni, 81 years old. He's been in power so long that the constitution had to be changed twice just so he could keep running. They removed age limits and term limits for him. Once seen as part of a new generation of African leaders bringing democracy, that reputation has completely soured. He's now the 3rd longest serving leader in Africa, and critics say he rules with an iron fist. His speech, He's the only one who can guarantee stability. He says he wants to protect the gains. He wants to turn Uganda into a middle-income country, boosting manufacturing and capitalize on oil production that's supposed to start this year. Next up is Bobi Wine, real name Robert Kyangulanyi. He went from a hitmaker to ghetto president. He represents something different: youth, change, energy. His base is young, urban, working class voters in a country where most people are under 30. His promises: restore political freedoms, end what he calls 40 years of dictatorship, stamp out corruption, create jobs for young people, and review those oil deals if they don't favor Uganda. He is one of two main contestants in this election, and since the last election in 2021, he has faced constant harassments at the hands of the government. Now, here's the part no one's talking about publicly, but everyone's thinking about. What happens when President Museveni leaves office eventually? Because it's got to happen at some point. Already, most people believe he's grooming his son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who happens to be the military chief, to take over. You see, Kainerugaba hasn't been shy about it either. He openly discusses his presidential ambitions. President Museveni denies he's setting up his son, but come on, he's literally the head of the military. And this is causing a lot of drama within President Museveni's own party. Other heavyweight politicians are also positioning themselves for when the old man eventually steps down. It appears the election is just one layer. The succession battle is just right underneath the surface, boiling. Here's what people are watching: President Museveni's margin of victory. You see, back in 2021, he got his lowest score ever, 58%. And if you're not familiar, in Uganda, a candidate needs 50% of the votes cast to be declared president. If the candidate scores less than 50, there will be a runoff election. But that election will only be between the top two candidates. Now, if that number that President Yoweri Museveni scored back in 2021 at 58% drops even more, it could weaken his position before the succession battle openly begins. So right now, every percentage matters. For ordinary Ugandans, though, this election is about survival. Youth unemployment is through the roof in a country where the majority of the people are under 30. Infrastructure is poor. Access to quality education and healthcare varies wildly depending on where you live. Corruption is massive. Uganda ranks 140th out of 180 countries on the Corruption Perceptions Index. Bribery and nepotism are everywhere in government. The one bright spot, though: Uganda hasn't seen the spike in cost of living that's hit other countries in the region, but that's not enough when you can't find a job now, is it? And remember what happened in Kenya and Tanzania recently? Youth-led protests because young people are fed up with systems they see as corrupt and unresponsive. Uganda's government is very aware of that risk. So, will this election be free and fair? Based on past elections, there are three serious concerns. First, there's talk of an internet shutdown during voting, supposedly to prevent people from verifying results independently. The NUP, which is an opposition party, Bobi Wine's party, says they've developed a vote monitoring app using Bluetooth technology to get around this. Second, critics question whether the Electoral Commission is actually independent. Thirdly, Bobi Wine is worried about vote rigging, which is why he's telling supporters to physically guard their ballots. The Electoral Commission, though, promises transparency, saying party agents, media, and monitors will observe the counting. But trust is at an all-time low. Results are supposed to be announced within 48 hours of polls closing, and we'll see if that actually happens. But right now, the bigger picture. Why does the world care about this election? If you're watching this, you're probably not from Uganda, but you're curious enough to know about this election, which brings me to one very important point. My name is Chika, by the way, and I discuss African issues on this channel. News, politics, governance. I also discuss tech, social issues, music, entertainment, whatever it is. As long as it concerns Africa and Africans, you will find me there. So if this is the sort of thing that interests you, please don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel, turn on my notifications so that you can see more content like this whenever I make them. Now, let's get back to why you're watching this video. Because you see, Uganda is a strategic ally for Western countries. They've sent troops to fight militant groups in Somalia and across the region. In fact, they host the largest number of refugees in Africa. After the 2021 elections, the United States then said the elections were neither free nor fair. This time under Donald Trump, they're staying quiet. And perhaps it could be because Uganda just signed a deal to take deportees from the US. So right now, they're in US President Donald Trump's good books. Elsewhere, Uganda is also cozying up to China, Russia, and the United Arab Emirates. China is a lead partner in Uganda's oil fields, which are supposed to start producing this year. So there are real economic and geopolitical stakes here beyond just Ugandan democracy.